The first time she saw him, he was staring at her like he already knew how her story would end. It was a cold afternoon when Ayesha moved into the quiet neighborhood, dragging behind her a past she refused to speak about. The house she rented stood at the edge of the street, old and slightly abandoned looking, as if it had stories of its own buried deep within its cracked walls. The landlord had warned her, but she needed a place where no one would ask questions. Across the street lived a boy named Daniel. He wasn't like the others. He didn't laugh with friends, didn't play outside, didn't even seem to belong to the world around him. Instead, he watched. Always watching. From his window, from behind trees, from shadows. At first, Ayesha ignored him. But then strange things began to happen. It started with small details. Objects in her house moving ever so slightly. A chair turned the wrong way. A door she was sure she locked, found open. She told herself it was stress, trauma, her mind playing tricks, because she had reasons to be afraid. Ayesha wasn't running from nothing. She had escaped something terrible. A life filled with manipulation, control, and emotional abuse. She had sworn never to let anyone get that close again. Never to lose control again. But the feeling of being watched never left. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of dying orange, she noticed Daniel standing right outside her gate. Still. Silent. Staring. Her heart raced as she stepped out. "What do you want?" He tilted his head slightly, almost like he was confused by her question. "You're not safe here," he said quietly. A chill ran down her spine. What does that mean? But he didn't answer. He simply turned and walked away. That night, Ayesha couldn't sleep. The air felt heavier than usual. Every sound was louder, every shadow darker. Around midnight, she heard footsteps inside her house. Not outside. Inside. Her breath caught as she slowly got out of bed. The wooden floor creaked under her feet as she moved toward the hallway. The sound stopped. Silence. Too much silence. And then she saw it. The front door. Wide open. Her chest tightened. She was sure she had locked it. Suddenly, a voice whispered from behind her. You didn't listen. She turned sharply, but no one was there. The next morning, she confronted Daniel. "Were you in my house last night?" He looked at her with an unsettling calm. "If I was, you'd be dead." Her anger flared, but beneath it was fear. "Then explain what's happening to me." Daniel hesitated. For the first time, he looked human. Not strange, not distant. Just a boy carrying something heavy. "This house," he said slowly, "doesn't let people leave easily." Ayesha scoffed. "That's ridiculous." But deep down, she wasn't so sure. Days passed, and the disturbances grew worse. Whispers at night, reflections in mirrors that didn't match her movements, a figure standing at the end of her hallway that disappeared when she blinked. She began losing track of time. Sometimes hours passed in what felt like minutes. Sometimes she would wake up in places she didn't remember going to. And always there was that feeling, like the house was watching her back. One evening, desperate and terrified, she broke down in front of Daniel. "Tell me the truth. Please." He finally did. Years ago, a family had lived in that house. A father, a mother, and a daughter. From the outside, they seemed perfect. But behind closed doors, something was very wrong. The father was controlling, violent, obsessive. One night, the mother tried to escape with her daughter. They didn't make it. The house burned partially, but no bodies were ever found. Since then, people who moved in reported strange things. Most left quickly. Some never did. Ayesha felt her stomach drop. Why didn't you tell me before? Because you wouldn't have believed me. She looked at the house, her house, and for the first time, it didn't feel like a place. It felt like a trap. That night, everything escalated. The walls seemed to breathe. The whispers turned into voices. The shadows moved freely, no longer hiding. And then she saw her, a little girl standing in the hallway. Burned, broken, silent. Ayesha couldn't move. The girl raised her hand and pointed behind her. Slowly, Ayesha turned. And there he was. A man, tall, distorted, his face twisted into something inhuman. His eyes locked onto hers with a hunger that made her soul tremble. Run! The word echoed in her mind. She ran. Through the hallway, out the door, into the street. Daniel was waiting. You saw him, didn't you? Tears streamed down her face as she nodded. We have to end this, he said. How? He looked at the house. We make it remember. Together, they returned. Step by step, fear clawing at their sanity, they entered the house again. The air was suffocating, the presence stronger than ever. They found the basement, a place neither of them had seen before. Inside, they discovered the truth. Old photographs, torn clothes, blood-stained walls, and a hidden door. Behind it, the remains, the mother and daughter. The truth had been buried, but not gone. As soon as they uncovered it, the house began to shake violently. The man's presence grew furious, desperate. You don't belong here. The voice thundered around them. Ayesha stepped forward, her fear turning into something stronger. Neither do you. With trembling hands, she called the authorities. Days later, the remains were finally given proper burial. The story came to light. The truth, once hidden, was now exposed. And the house went silent. For the first time since she arrived, Ayesha slept peacefully. No whispers, no shadows, no fear, just silence. Before leaving the neighborhood, she met Daniel one last time. You saved me, she said softly. He shook his head. No, you saved yourself. She smiled, a real smile, perhaps for the first time in years. As she walked away, she realized something. The house wasn't the only thing haunting her. Her past had been too. But just like the house, once she faced it, once she brought the truth into the light, it lost its power. And sometimes, the most disturbing stories aren't about ghosts. They're about the things we refuse to confront. Until we do.